I'm so sick of this geezer. 7 touches in a game of football. 7. 7 touches. And one of them was a clearance and the other one was a kickoff. So 5 touches. It is atrocious. And Romelu Lukaku is well on his way to becoming the worst big money signing that Chelsea have ever had. And that's some going. We signed Alvaro Morata. I cannot believe how poor it has been from Romelu Lukaku. It is an embarrassment. It's a travesty. And the sooner he is out of Chelsea, the better. I am so sick of him. It is becoming torturous. And do you know what? When you watched what Harry Kane did to Man City, you realise that is a centre-forward. That is a proper centre-forward. And when we compare centre-forwards, at one point, people were genuinely telling me that Lukaku was as good or comparable to Harry Kane. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Proper centre-forwards. Benzema, Lewandowski, Harry Kane, they create for themselves. They drop deep. They make it happen. They fight. They lead the line. They bully defenders, they bully midfielders, and they force their way into a game. They don't simply blame the service. They don't simply stand up front hoping for the best, not challenging. I don't think Romelu Lukaku jumped once against Crystal Palace. I literally don't think he jumped once. He is £100 million football player. You have to make something happen. You have to be proactive. You have to be pragmatic. As a footballer, it is your responsibility to force the issue and make things happen. Drift out wide, create the space, make a late run, do something. Use your own initiative if you have any. It is absolutely ridiculous. And personally, I want him gone. I desperately want him gone. He has been a disgrace, shocking for Chelsea, both on and off the pitch. That interview is still lingering. The ramifications of that interview with Sky Italia are still prominent at Chelsea. And it is a disgrace. And we shouldn't forget the impact that that interview has had on our season. Since that interview, in the Premier League, he's played 6 games. No goals, no assists. So it's obviously had an impact. And I genuinely don't think we should play him. We have a massive match against Liverpool. We're playing a cup final on Sunday. A game that I'm so desperate to win. I love that trophy. I love silverware. Winning it is historic. Lifting silverware at Wembley is the dream. And I don't think he should play. I don't think our £100 million acquisition in the summer, the man that was meant to take us from a decent cup team to proper, serious challengers for the Premier League, I don't think he should play in a game like this, in a game of this magnitude, against one of the best teams ever assembled. I'm dreading it. I'm dreading this game, primarily because of Romelu Lukaku. It's such a shame, but I don't think he should play. I think our best form this season has been when Kai Havertz has played as a false 9. And I think that's what we should do. It is a catastrophe. It really is. And again, we're in the headlines, we're in the spotlight, and it's all because of Romelu Lukaku. People want to make excuses, and do you know what? We can explore them if you want. We can do that. I mean, every centre-forward often has somebody to play off. So if we keep it in a Chelsea context, Diego Costa was heavily reliant on the brilliance of Cesc Fabregas. Think about the amount of times through balls, the goal against Arsenal where he lobbed the keeper, Cesc Fabregas plays the ball through. The goal against Watford where the eye of the needle ball at Vicarage Road, Cesc Fabregas puts Diego Costa through, Diego Costa scored. We don't have that. Obviously, Drogba and Lampard, their link-up play, creating goals for one another was sensational. Annoyingly, Kane and Son have just broken that, haven't they, providing goals for each other. But Romelu Lukaku doesn't have that. Romelu Lukaku doesn't have that option. And on some level, I agree that football is often about connections. And for every great frontman, there is normally an important support act. Somebody that helps, somebody that can aid, somebody that creates space. Equally, you often have 2 frontmen. It doesn't matter whether it's back in the day, Roger Hunt and Ian St. John, or more recently in the 90s, you had Cole and York, or even more recently at Chelsea, you had Good Johnson and Hasselbank, speaking Dutch to one another. So maybe there's something there. But there is nobody for Lukaku to link up with. And then we have to ask the question, why sign him? Everybody talks about Chelsea's recruitment being brilliant and Marina Granovskaya dictating the way that Chelsea operate at boardroom level and particularly around transfers in an admirable way. People think that she does a really good job. Why are we signing Romelu Lukaku if we don't play a system that allows Romelu Lukaku to flourish? Nobody can consistently create chances for Romelu Lukaku. Only 2 players at Chelsea, Cesar Azpilicueta and Callum Hudson-Odoi, have created more than 1 goal for Romelu Lukaku. So there's no obvious link-up. Remember Morata had that link-up with Azpilicueta. Trent Alexander-Arnold immediately knows what Mohamed Salah wants, and they feed off one another. That doesn't exist for Lukaku at Chelsea. Chelsea don't have that kind of midfielder. We play that 2-6s, which means there is no Fabregas or there is no Lampard. It doesn't exist in our midfield. So why are we playing and signing and paying a fortune for a player who needs so much around him? The way that Chelsea play, we don't play a system that can allow for us to totally compensate everything that we do in order to allow Lukaku to flourish. Lukaku signed for the European champions and there has to fit into our system. So the recruitment needs to be explored. I don't quite understand why we signed a player that is so needy and we have a manager who doesn't play the way that he wants to play. The way that Martinez and Lukaku, I believe, created over 100 goals for one another in 2 seasons, the way that they would link up is they would do it bang on the counter. Chelsea don't do that. That isn't what Chelsea would do. Chelsea are more slow, more considered, more pensive, and it takes time. And therefore, we're asking Lukaku to do a job that he isn't comfortable with, clearly. So why sign him? Who is responsible for this signing? Look, I thought it was a good signing. I wanted Chelsea to sign Lukaku. But I'm not dictating what goes on at Chelsea boardroom level, am I? So the fact that I wanted him, the fact that I put a video out basically begging Chelsea to sign Lukaku is neither here nor there. I thought it could work. But it's somebody's responsibility when there is £100 million being spent to know that it can work. And they have to meet him and know that he is up for the challenge. And he clearly isn't. He clearly doesn't want to play for Chelsea. Ever since that interview, it became so obvious that he has no love, no interest in playing for Chelsea. The man is a narcissist. He finds happiness only in self-gratification. He isn't a team player. He doesn't want to be at the club. But when you are about to spend that amount of money on someone, and when you're about to pay that amount of money to someone in wages, making them that rich, know that you're getting it right. And this must be levelled at Granovskaya. What is she doing? Or Roman Abramovich? Surely, when you decide to write a cheque for that amount of money, know that it's correct. The amount of jeopardy involved with signing Lukaku was there for all to see. Everybody questioned his first touch. Some said it had repaired while in Italy. That's clearly not the case. People always question when he was at Manchester United his ability to score against big teams. I believe he only ever scored against Chelsea. That's still a genuine thing. So why are we signing a player who doesn't have the ability to score in big games? I truly don't understand it. And I'm out of ideas with this. But crucially and more worryingly, so is Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is really worried and basically asked, what can I do? I don't know, with regard to getting Lukaku more involved. Our manager, who is incredibly gifted, who we are so lucky to have, who is an elite level manager, is out of ideas with regard to Romelu Lukaku. This is a massive problem. And look, no Fabregas in the team, no Lampard in the team, whatever. None of that excuses having 7 touches of the ball against Palace. One of them being a kickoff and the other one being a clearance. So 5. None of this excuses that. But I just think that the whole running of the club now needs to be questioned. If you're going to spend 100 million quid on a player that clearly doesn't fit your system, somebody needs to be held accountable for that. There is no continuity. If Romelu Lukaku liked the idea of playing with Martinez and finding a rapport and constantly feeding off one another and creating that telepathy, that doesn't exist with Thomas Tuchel. When we play Lille, we are likely to name our 41st different team this year. Thomas Tuchel never plays the same team. He never plays the front 3, let alone the same team. He never plays the same front 3. So, why are we signing a player who's so reliant on consistency? This has just gone so wrong, so badly, and I really don't know where we go from here. But Thomas Tuchel, for some reason, keeps playing Lukaku. I mean, he's played him in the 10 games since he was dropped for that game following the Sky Italia interview. So he played him in 10 games since he was dropped. Why? Why? His performances haven't dictated that he has to play. He is obviously not in the right frame of mind to play. He isn't firing at all. He's barely touching the ball. So why does he keep playing? Football should be a meritocracy. You earn your place in the team. Playing and leading the line for Chelsea is an honour. It is an honour. And that's why I can't understand it. And that isn't about Chelsea, by the way. When Granit Xhaka turned down the Arsenal armband, it's an honour to get that armband. And you don't turn it down. It's an honour to lead the line for Chelsea. And you do it to the best of your ability, regardless of what's going on around you. You fight tooth and nail. You give everything you possibly got. And Romelu Lukaku is clearly not doing that. But the question is, firstly, why was he signed? And secondly, why do we keep playing him? I think we're going to beat Lille. They're languishing in about 11th in Ligue 1. So I think we're going to be fine against Lille. But Sunday against Liverpool is a worry. And I truly don't think Romelu Lukaku should play. He doesn't deserve to play. And he isn't good enough to lead the line for Chelsea. And if he plays, Chelsea are effectively playing with 10 men. You might get out of jail at Selhurst Park playing with 10 men. But you aren't going to win at Wembley against Liverpool. It's just not going to happen. It's a nightmare. The whole situation is an absolute nightmare. And it was completely avoidable because history teaches you about people. And we knew what Romelu Lukaku was going to be like before we signed him. Somebody at Chelsea needs to be accountable for this because it's just going from bad to worse. And I feel sorry for his teammates and I feel really sorry for Thomas Tuchel having to deal with this situation. Never thought we'd get into this situation, but I'm pining for Timo Werner. Funny old game, eh? Oh dear. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like. Please click subscribe. And I'll see you all in a bit. Have a lovely Monday night.